Gonna skip that. Hello guys, this is me, the avatar of Frenchhood once again. I don't know if Frenchhood is actually a word, but I don't care. So anyway, well, what's new this week? Well, this week the big novelty is a bunch of particle effects. I have put particle effects in all the levels to improve the ambience, to make the game look a little bit fancier. And there are a bunch of new features and bug solving, but there is still a lot of that to do. The shame is that I can't show you the new features. At least some of the new features can be shown right now on this build of the game, the one which runs full screen. Why? Because, well, I set up a new version of the game. Consider I have made enough progress to consider that this is no longer version 0.1. I mean, we can probably say this is a version 0.7 or something like that. And as I change the version number, it seems my old save no longer converted to this new version somehow. So again, I'm doing this video right at when Wednesday comes, I do the video, whatever the state of the game. So even if I don't understand something right now, I still do the video. So I still don't fully understand why the save was deleted, but I can still show you some of the stuff on this save anyway. I'm going to use some jump cuts today, because there is no real point in showing you all the worlds. At least the world in the entirety, because I want you to show you a little bit of all the worlds, so you can see the particle effects for each one. Here you see you have little flowers raining from the sky, and you have very different stuff in the next levels. So I'm going to stop here for the grassland world. I'm going to do a jump cut later, and we will meet again in the snow world. Okay, so here we are in the snow world, and you can see that here it's no longer flowers, of course, it's snow. So maybe I'm going to still tweak those effects a little bit. I think the snow level could use a little more snow, because it could be, part of the difficulty increasing, that the particle effects get slightly more annoying for the eye. But yeah, I did more playtesting this week, because as you can see, the game is starting to... All the worlds are there are differences, and because I worked on those particle effects, I always had to go in all the worlds to test everything. Of course, I didn't go into the worlds manually as I'm doing here right now. I use a cheat. But this cheat is editing the code, but basically it's not really a cheat. So I can do that in a full build. But yeah, I did some more playtesting, and I realized that there are some bugs with the items. And those bugs with the items are the reason, I made a poll on my Patreon, in which I asked, are you interested in getting a build of the game? And I thought I would release this build today with the video, but right now I'm seeing a lot of bugs that really mess up the experience. They make the experience much less enjoyable, because some of the items actually penalize you much more than they should for buying them, because I messed up a bit in the math for the bonuses. I'm a bit ashamed, because I'm also a math teacher in life, but yeah, I realized that I messed up the math a little bit, and this will be pretty easy to correct that math. I don't think I need much time, so it's much smarter, I think, to release the build in 2 or 3 days, when maybe the same day I release the Serena page, or maybe a new day entirely. Maybe I do that on I don't know, Friday or something, because I really think it would be a shame to release this build which has those annoying bugs, when I see that those bugs will be very quick to solve. I'm going to do the math for the bonuses another way. I already know what I must do, so I think I will just do it, and it's better to delay to avoid you a bad experience. I know not many of you will play the incomplete builds, maybe even no one, maybe 1 or 2 people among you that might play it, according to my statistic. But yeah, maybe nobody will play that unfinished build, I don't know. So, but still, for those people, I think it would be a shame to release a build with those bugs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to delay the release of the build a little bit, and those 2 weeks. But on the other hand, not releasing a build this week will make very little sense, because as I said, I plan to release the first version of the game in 2 weeks. Now, of course, this is a plan which I might not respect, and I will do my best, but this is not a certainty. But yeah, not releasing a build, an incomplete build, 2 weeks before the release of the main build makes very little sense. Why even release an alpha build if it's just before the true release? It makes no sense. So I will just solve those little bugs. Just a note, you see that I'm buying items. The items that improve you without any penalty, they actually work fine. But it's the items that give you a penalty, the math in that penalty is messed up. So sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, but when I play at the same, I'm not very good at talking and playing at the same time. That's probably why I could never be a good video game streamer. Not that I want to be, but even if I wanted, I guess I can't. My brain isn't really good at playing games and talking at the same time, and I'm not that great at game even to begin with, even though I make some of them. So yeah, I'm going to do another jump cut. We're going to resume in the desert world, even though right now I talked so much and I couldn't find my words in this part. The slow world is pretty soon over, but I'm still going to do a jump cut, and we're going to continue with the desert world. Okay, and now here we are in the desert world, and you can see that there is a lot of dust and wind here. So the wind does actually nothing, it's just cosmetic, but it won't be forever. In the original game, the desert introduced the idea that you lost your energy faster because you were thirsty because of the heat. And I thought this wasn't such a good mechanic for gameplay wise. So I think I will change what I did in the original game, because I came up with this wind effect which looked kinda neat, and I thought, yeah, what if I change the penalty in the desert to having to fight the wind? So I think I'm gonna do that the desert in the new version of the game will be all about the wind, and that this wind will affect you more when you jump than when you're on the ground. And in a way that would make it the opposite of the ice world, because in the ice world you sleep on the ice but you have no problem in the air. So I think that would be more interesting than what I had in the original game. Of course those aspects are not yet in the game. Also you can see that my jump is insanely high right now, because I bought all the jump upgrades. there might still be some balancing to do around this. Also, a little detail, now I can exceed the levels by the lower platform. Before that didn't work, as that could introduce some weird situations. So I changed that, now you can exceed the level from either the top or the low platform. So yeah, my jump might be a little too high right now. I think I might have to tweak the values from the upgrades. So that's only something that can come from more playtesting. And that's actually something where you might help with the incomplete build, with the balancing of the game. Yeah, I know, this is a practice project, this is a simple platformer. I'm not talking about a tournament game, a MOBA game. That's the kind of game, when you say balance in video game, people always think about tournament games, strategy games, but in reality even a platformer game requires some amount of balance, and that's work. That's something that people don't realize. It's actually work. You have to tweak the values and playtest the game again and again and again, and that's where beta testers could help a lot. So of course I cannot request this beta testing from you, you do it if you want to, but it sure would help to get some more insight into, is the jump too high, too low, is the upgrade too strong, too weak, or whatever. That's a lot of stuff that I have still to do, and that's why even though the game is right now pretty much feature complete, there is so much tweaking and improvement to do on those features, and bug solving, of course. That's those 2 extra weeks that I need from now on. I really think I'm gonna need them. I will do my best to avoid it, but 3 weeks might be a possibility. It depends. Again, the plan is still the same, do my best. Waste as little time as possible on the videos. That's why those videos are crap. That's because I don't want to waste too much time doing the videos, even though I'm technically doing some extra playtesting while doing the video. But yeah, I don't want to waste too much time doing the videos, so I can actually not be too late on my original promise. I might still be late, but I want to be as much on time as I can. So anyway, I'm going to do another jump cut, and we're going to meet again in Cyber City, which is the next world. Okay, and here is Cyber City. So in Cyber City, just like in the original game, there is a giant laser that comes from the top of the screen that might kill you. So just like many things in the game right now, the laser works, but it definitely needs improvement because it lacks impact, it lacks sound. So yeah, there is giant death laser here, but nothing happens. I plan to add sound, of course, and the screen will also shake when the laser fires. But it's pretty much the theme with this game. I first implement all the things in a watered down, simple version, and once that simple version works, I do the improvements. That's the best way to do things. Because if you try to improve things immediately, it usually goes very wrong. You have to do something simple but that works first, and then improve it later. And as I said before, there are still a bunch of problems. But I kind of started this video on the wrong foot because I started talking about the problems and the bugs first. But a bunch of stuff did move forward again. All those particle effects really make the background look much more interesting. There are new type of enemies like those Tesla coils that are specific to Cyber City. And there is of course a giant death laser, even if it's version 1, and that version 1 doesn't look very awesome. it's still the giant death laser, which didn't exist in the game before. Right now it's here. There is also much more platform variety than before. The way they spawn, there are more configurations in which they may spawn. Of course, I'm going to add even more because right now the level still tends to repeat quite a bit. But if I add more configurations, the problems will solve easily. The system is in place, I just have to add configurations, which is relatively easy right now. And in the next version of the game, I will have even more platform configurations, maybe even all of them. It just, that I do the videos on the fly and the items, I see the bugs as I go. And here comes the day of the video, and the game has this problem, but it's time for the video, so I do the video, even though there is this glaring problem right in the front of my nose. Also, something that you should be aware of is that the drug, Mr. Bull's vitamins cocktail, this item doesn't work right now. It's the only one I haven't implemented yet because it's the most complex. All the other work, well, except the armbands, because I say the mass is made up. The armbands work the first time you purchase them, but their effect doesn't scale properly. That's what I mean. They have an effect, but it's not the one I wanted. And their penalty ends up being too strong, so it's not fun to use those items. That's the correct way to put it. So I'm going to tweak the values and change the method of calculation a little bit, and it should solve the issue. So yeah, it's always, as always, but it's really, when you talk with a developer, you will see that all video games, and I like that. It's a blend of, we are moving forward, but new problems and new bugs keep popping up. But eventually, day by day, hour per hour, those problems end up being solved and disappearing. Also, you can see that my platform shader, it doesn't give a very good result on the platform of Cyber City. It looks a bit weird. So that's also something I'm hoping to improve. But yeah, this game is, despite all the problems, this project is accomplishing its mission. Because by doing all those little fails, I'm actually learning what I shouldn't do for the next project. I made a bunch of bad decisions at the start of Mr. Ping, which are biting me in the ass right now. And next time I will know, I shouldn't do that. And that was the very reason I did this project. And I didn't start Victory Bell immediately. It was to learn that kind of thing. So, mission accomplished. Even though you mostly hear me complaining about those bugs and those problems, well, paradoxically, it's a good thing. It's exactly why I am doing this Mr. Pixie. So anyways, I'm going to do another jump cut, and I'm going to show you the last world, which is the volcanic world. And here it is, the last world, the volcanic world. And just like Cyber City has the death laser, in volcanic world you have the fireball raining from the sky. You have, just like with the laser, you have a warning. There are those red lines that appear that warn you when the flames are going to fall. Otherwise, it would be completely unfair. Of course, just like the laser, those fireballs raining from the skies are terribly lacking impact. So I will add the screen shakes, sounds, and all that jazz later. But right now, the basic functionality works, which, as I said before, is the point. I do the basic functionality first, and once that works, then I do the improvement. And right now, a bunch of the basic functionalities of the game are there. A few are missing, like I said before, the drug item doesn't work. but that's because I am completely changing its design. I realized that the previous version of the drug wasn't fun to use, because it triggered when you made a double jump, and you might be forced to do a double jump and use the drug at a time you don't want to. So I changed that stuff. I think I'm going to do it so that you have to press a button to use the drug, and that of course that will change the programming and the way it works. So sorry about that, but only a few things are missing. I almost die here because right now my jump, I said before that I had to tweak the values of the bonuses, but you see right now my jump is so high, it's completely ridiculous. In fact, it's making me lose control of my jump. I have trouble controlling my jumps right now because it's so high. So as I said before, still a lot of tweaking to do, and if you want to, you can help by playing the build that I'm going to release in a few days. But I still think I'm going to do a little tweaking before releasing, because right now a few of those problems are ridiculous. It will hurt me to release it in that state. So I'm going to nerf a little those buffs for the jumps, and also the buff for speed. I'm going to nerf them a little bit, and it should be less ridiculous. I'm also going to fix the mass problems that makes the armbands have too much the penalty from the armband item to be too strong. Of course, the armband items have a good side, which is why you wanna buy them, but right now the penalty is way too strong. So anyway, I'm repeating myself as usual, but as I said before, it's because I have trouble concentrating very well when I play at the same time. So yeah, I wanted to show you all the world, so you can see that the big laser is here, the meteors falling from the sky. I think meteors, I call them meteors, but they're really fireballs from the volcanoes. The fireballs falling from the skies are also here, and all the worlds have their fancy particle effects to improve their visuals, and all those are progress that I did this week. But there is also another big progress that was done this week. But sadly, I can't show it to you this game. I have to do several games to do it, because this new feature is related to unlocking stuff when you gain achievements. And it's impossible to gain all the achievements required for that in a single game. So I'm going to commit suicide, pretty much. I'm going to suicide with the meteors falling from the sky. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get hit and bam, I'm dead. This is the animation for dying by burning, which of course is very basic right now. It's one of those many things that it works, but I want to improve it. And because this new build has a new save, this core that I did is the first one. It's my first core ever. So on this save. But I'm going to show you the achievement screen. So you see, just by doing this single game, I managed to gain a bunch of achievements because I went pretty far. I reached the volcanic world. The worlds loop. Once you finish the volcanic world, you start again at the grasslands, but a harder version of the grasslands, and it keeps repeating like that forever. It's an infinite game, like the original. It ends like when you die. Because I'm not an amazing gamer, I guess I'm decent, but I'm not an amazing player. Since I'm not an amazing gamer, I don't know if I will be able to reach the max level myself. It's 99. Level 99 is the maximum, the hardest the game can get. I don't know if I will ever reach that. But I know there are very good gamers out there for which it will likely be possible. But anyways, you see that to unlock achievements, I need to complete a row. I need to get all the achievements on a row. So I'm going to do other games to do that, because the achievements on the first row are actually pretty quick to get once you know what you need to do. You see, I can see a preview right now I can get a pop-up which tell me what the achievement is, which is something new on this screen also. Before, the achievements were secret. And I thought, yeah, that's pretty unfair for the achievements to be secret. So I added the option to see what an achievement it is even before you unlock it by putting the mouse over it. So I'm going to get all the achievements of the first row, and I'm going to restart the video, do a new video, which I will match with this. Sorry, I said it wrong. I'm going to resume the video once I'm ready to get the final achievement on the first row, so you can see what happens. See you then. And here we are at jump cut later. So you see that I played a little bit off camera to gain some of the easy achievements from the first row. And you see that the first row is almost complete. I'm only missing one achievement, which is one of the easiest to get once you know it exists. It's you have to die with a negative score, with gaining weight. And that's very easy to do. You pretty much have to eat the first food you see. Don't do any push-ups to not lose any weight, and that's suicide. If you don't do any push-ups and you eat the first food and suicide, you usually get this achievement very easily. So of course, the food spawning is random, so we might have to wait a bit. Oh, don't do any push-ups, because I want to be fat, I want to lose. Of course, it's when I want the food to spawn that it's a tomato. It's not very fat, but it's fat enough for me to get. Oh, here's a new bug. Okay, I don't know why Mr. Pig is visible here. I'm going to have to check. But once again, I will have to keep this footage despite the fact it shows a new bug. Damn it. But despite that, I will have to keep this footage because it's important to show you that right now, right here, I just completed a row. And because of that, when I will click this button to end my game, to truly end my game, this happens. You see that I have unlocked a bonus because I made a full row of achievements. This was a system that was in the original game in Flash, and now it's redone in this game. And if I go back to the achievement screen, you will see that one of the lock is gone. I can see that now I have vouchers that appear in the levels, and they give me discounts at the shops. And the voucher bonus was a little bit of work because once you have unlocked it, the interface changes. You see that right now at the top of the screen, a voucher icon has appeared. It wasn't there before. Now it's here. And vouchers will appear in the levels. So they're pretty rare. I might finish a level and not get any of them, but hopefully we will get lucky. While I'm playing, I'm wondering what could have happened with the bug earlier. I'm wondering if maybe the achievement pop-up was considered by the game somehow as being a game object, something that can interact with the world and maybe push Mr. Pig back up. That's my best theory right now. I'm going to investigate after that. But yeah, I found a voucher, lucky me. And in the next shop, there will be discounts. So I know those videos always end up showing that there are still a lot of little bugs running there and there. And now you're starting to understand, maybe if you didn't know about it before, if you were only consuming game without even considering the programming and the problems behind the creation of a game, you see that making a game, debugging a game is a lot of work. And 2 weeks for that, for finishing the project, it's actually going to be pretty just. If I work well, if I have a lot of time, I might pull it off. But once again, I might have to delay the release once again. We will see. As I said, I just keep doing my best and we will see what happens. I said earlier in the videos, so you see I'm at the shop and here I have 25% off because I came in holding a voucher. So I can buy stuff, but it's 25% cheaper. So I'm going to use this opportunity to buy the Blue Bull energy drink, even if it's kinda pointless actually. What's coming out of my testing is that you actually shouldn't buy temporary buff items like the water or the Blue Bull energy drink at the beginning of the game. You should use the beginning of the game to save up, buy the permanent upgrades, and then buy the ones which are temporary. Because the first levels are really easy. So it's a great opportunity to stock up on resources for the harder levels later. So here is a new voucher, I'm pretty lucky. The probability of voucher spawning is pretty much 1 every 5 sequence of platforms. So the sequence of platforms is something you can see on the screen, but it's the logic used by the spawner to create the platforms. I have a new voucher for the next level. New vouchers cannot spawn while you're holding one. So I won't see any voucher until I enter the next shop and use this one. That's a 100% probability. However, once I spend my voucher, I don't know when I will find a new one. So there is a little bit of strategy with that. You can save up to buy the big expensive upgrades. And as I said earlier, but also if you really want to make maximum use of the vouchers, you also want to use every shop. So once again, if there are people who somehow end up really liking this game and starting min-maxing on it, there is probably an optimum strategy in there. I'm going to buy a shield, again kinda pointless, but I'm just showing off the things that work. Despite the many problems, there are still a bunch of stuff that work, and as times go by, more and more stuff work and more bugs are eliminated. So it's not all bad. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this week, and the bonuses that you can unlock with the achievements, you saw on the achievement screen that there were 4 bonuses. Well, all the bonuses should work except the third one, because the third one is kinda like the vouchers. It's a little more complicated. You have to update a few things about the interface and the logic of the game. The second and fourth unlock are very easy stuff. They just give you 1 free item at the beginning of each one. And those already work. Again, when I say something works, it's always with an asterisk, a big warning, this might not be true, maybe there are bugs I didn't find yet. So yeah, but it's pretty much always the same conclusion as all the other weeks, stuff keeps moving forward slowly but surely, and even if I will likely be late. I'm pretty certain I will be late when compared to what I had announced 1 month ago. But even my revised prediction of saying, yeah, I need 1 more week, even that I might be late on that. But I'm confident I can do this game, finish it, make it as enjoyable as I can for you guys. And also, because that's the real purpose of this game, gaining all the experience I need, discover all the pitfalls I should avoid for my next game. Because all those bugs you see, they're teaching me something about Unity and about mistakes in my code. Because that's something I wanted to talk about little in this video, I didn't until now. It's that even though I came out publicly by saying, yeah, I'm working on a remake of Mr. Ping 1 month ago, I actually started my first lines of code for this almost 1 year ago. Because, I explained that right now I have more time because of the pandemic, because I work a lot through the internet for my teaching job. I do remote classes, through Zoom or stuff like that. And that saves me time that I can use to work on my games and art much more than I usually can. Because in a normal time period before the pandemic, and when I had other projects going, I couldn't work as much on Unity as right now. And why am I telling you this? Well, it's because when I started those first line of code 1 year ago, Unity was very different. Unity actually changed a lot this year. And in a good way, they actually implemented very powerful new features like shader graph, the render pipelines. I'm probably speaking Chinese to you, or Vietnamese, or any language you don't understand if you if you never did any programming in your life. But yeah, if you ever did programming, those terms might mean something to you. Or if you read more technical magazines about video games, you might have heard about those things. And those new technologies are awesome, and I didn't want to be left out. I wanted to learn them. But when it comes to Mr. Pig, this led to a big problem, is that some of my earlier line of codes weren't adapted at all to those new systems. Especially the menus, because I actually started making this game by making the menus, believe it or not. Well, the menus right now are completely unadapted for the new version of Unity. They still use the old input system, they still use the old logic for detecting events, and converting them to the new system will be quite complicated. I'm not sure I'm going to do it. In Mr. Ping, you might forever have to use the mouse in the menus. So sorry, I know this is bad, and that's not what I said initially, but I want you to keep in mind that even though I want Mr. Pig to be enjoyable and as a game not be completely bugged and completely imbalanced, I still don't want to waste too much time on it, because Mr. Pig isn't one of my core project, one of my favorite core characters, when you ask people, what's the characters that an engineer ex Yakiduran does? Well, it's Victor Bell, it's Serena, basically. Mr. Pig always was a side thing that I did to learn programming, to learn coding video games, but it's not really, a character and a universe I'm big into. It's typically a learning project, a side project to learn stuff. Right now, today, in early 2021, it's not a side project. I'm doing this with all my available time, but its purpose is still not to be my how could I put this? Sorry, sometimes I have to find my words in English. It's not going to be the thing that I'm going to showcase everywhere and say, I'm an engineer creator of Mr. Pig. No, I consider I'm much rather be called the creator of Serena or Victor Bell, because those are the characters I really love, and I think also represent better what I love and what I want to give to the world in a way. I know this sounds a little bit pretentious, told that way, but that's still kinda what I feel. So here I can buy a discounted book, which is a very good deal, so I'm going to do that. Because books are permanent upgrades, so you never lose them. So this was a good plan. I just hope I'm not going to run out of vitality, but thanks to the green platforms which give back some, I should be okay. So the whole point being, 3 weeks is probably all I will give to this game from now on. It's more than I originally planned, but I also think it will going to be the maximum. And after that, I will just leave that game to the side and move on to doing what you really care about, which is a Victor Bell game for the new generation in Unity with better graphics and better gameplay. But Mr. Pig, even though it might in the end be kind of an incomplete project, it will have accomplished its mission. I learned what I needed to learn. I discovered the peaceful need to avoid. I'm going to eat those fries because even though they're not healthy, I was very, very low on vitality. And my score is pretty high anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, so sorry, I got my train of thought, but interrupted once again, damn it. So yeah, however, even if there might be little details and little bugs that remain in 3 weeks, I'm fairly sure the game will be playable and enjoyable. And it already kinda is, even if I keep discovering new bugs all the time, like earlier. But also, as I always say, you know, I do those videos honestly, showing you everything, including the bugs. It's also to save time, but it's also to show you, yeah, you know, I'm honest, I'm showing you how things are, I'm not lying, I'm not hiding myself behind heavily edited videos. This is a bad idea. It's much better idea when it comes to Patreon relationship, to know to really show patrons what's happening. Oh, also I'm going to end on this because I'm going to say it once again, because I always say the same thing, but it's also because they're important. I thank you once again for trusting me with your support, despite, you know, me always having my terrible French accent and saying the same things over and over again, and being overall always a bit slower than planned and announced initially. But I still thank you a lot, and I wanted to show you that I have edited the credits to add the name of the patrons that are paying a monthly fee right now. I promised I would do that, I did it. So your names are in there. The names that you wanted me to put in there are in there. Of course, there is still time, because as I said, I'm going to put 3 more weeks in that, instead of the originally one plan, because I was hoping to end next week originally. But no, I'm saying no, it's not going to end next week, it's going to end in 3 weeks. So, but I still did that. But what I mean is that you have time to, if you want me to change the name I put in there, you still have time to contact me again to change the name. But this should probably be fine, because most of the people answered. You see, there are only 3 people right now, so it's pretty easy. And 2 of you have answered. For the third one, I use the Patreon screen name. But if that person wants to change the name, they can contact me, and I'm going to change it. So anyways, that was it for this time. So you see, as usual, it's a mixed bag. The game looks much prettier than before, with all the fancy particle effects. The bonus unlocking and the vouchers are also a nice thing, but there are still things missing. And then there is the whole improving part, because when we really make when you check the backlog of the project, I'm not going to show it because in an Excel file is not very interesting. But the only features that truly don't work are the drug item doesn't work, and as I said, there is a third unlockable bonus. There is the first bonus is the vouchers. The second bonus is, and the fourth bonus is, you start with a free item. And the third bonus, I'm going to tell what it is. The third bonus is that there are dollar bills that spawn in the levels, which allows you to gain money slightly faster. And those dollar bills are not yet in the game. So making the drug item work and implementing the dollar bill bonus are the next 2 big steps. But once those are done, it's mostly debugging and improving, because when it comes to the features, we're really getting there. There is also, it's not really a feature, it's a nice to have thing. I could add some enemies, but adding other enemies is a nice to have, because in the original game in Flash you only had those static enemies. Yes, I know the Flash game was very basic too, but the Flash game, as I said earlier, was also all about learning stuff in programming and not really being a true, in air quotes, project. So anyways, as usual, I said the same things over and over again with my terrible French accent, and I'm late. But yeah, I also wanted you to see what's going well, because a few things are going well despite all the problems. And in particular, the game starts looking pretty nice, and I'm going to put in the last two big features that are missing, and then it's improving stuff, giving stuff more impact. This also means adding sounds, because right now a lot of events do not have sounds. When I jump, it doesn't do any sound. When I do push-ups, it doesn't do any sounds. I didn't put them in until now because I thought actually that I still had the sounds I used in the original games, but turns out I lost them. So I think that's also part of why I need much more time, because I will have to extract and format the sounds once again. And that's also something I intend to do next week. So that's the plan. As usual, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to 100% respect it, but I will do my best. Anyways, I think that's it for this time. I have said enough. I said several times the video was going to end, but then I thought of something else. Sorry. So here, this time it's really the end. I thank you for listening to me for all this time, if you did, because I know it's not easy with my accent and my tendency to repeat myself. I blame my stupid brain and my inability to concentrate on two things at once. And of course, I also blame my Frenchness, which is the source of my terrible accent. But anyways, thank you a lot for listening, for your support. And in a few days, I'm going to upload a build. But as I said, I want to do it in a few days, because there are a few very annoying bugs right now that are very easy to fix. And I think it would be a shame to submit to you a version that has those bugs that are so easy to fix. So I died here, but that's the purpose. I'm going to end here. Thank you for listening, and see you next time. Thanks again. Au revoir. That's French for bye bye, in case you forgot.